Keir Starmer, we all know what you've been up to, yeah? You've been exposed. The sooner you're gone, the better, okay? Because we've all had enough of you. You're the fascist, yeah? You're the one with all your little dealings and stuff, what you did before you got to become a Prime Minister. You'll do anything at any cost to get fucking money, won't you? Defending all these bastards, yeah? All these bastards that we don't want in our fucking country. And because of people like you, they fucking come here, yeah? We want you gone and we want them gone, yeah? And before you get your little policemen to knock on my door saying that this is inciting violence or this is hatred, it's not, okay? It's just letting you know, and we all know, that you're a cunt, and the sooner you're gone, the better. Get yourself fucked off, you little wrong-un, yeah, you little posh boy. Fuck off.
Keir Starmer, you are a disgrace. Start standing up for British lives, not just when it's convenient for your image. This is our country, and it's time we start putting our people first. You wank.
You won't believe what's just happened. A group of outspoken figures here in Britain have gone public with a stark warning to Starmer, openly calling on him to step aside. The message is spreading rapidly online, and people are starting to pay attention. It's exactly the kind of story the mainstream media would rather ignore. The clips you're about to see are raw, direct, and impossible to brush off. Stay with us, because you'll hear the full message straight from those delivering it. But before we get into the clips, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and give this video a like. That way, you won't miss more unfiltered stories like this. It also helps the channel grow and ensures these messages continue to reach the people who need to hear them. Right then, take a look at this.
Keir Starmer gets up in Parliament today at PMQs, and the first word that comes out of his mouth was talking about Jamaica and the hurricane. Now, don't get me wrong, it's sad what happened out there. But what about what's happening here, mate? A British man, Wayne Broadhurst, was out walking his dog in Uxbridge, stabbed to death by an Afghan illegal migrant for nothing, right? A 14-year-old boy was also stabbed by him, and a 45-year-old bloke is now being left with life-changing injuries. So where's the outrage for them? Where's the compassion for our own? Not a single mention from Starmer, not one. He's too busy virtue signaling about another country while our people are being butchered in the streets by people who shouldn't even be here. Now, I'm sick to death of it, because ordinary working class people are the ones living through this chaos. The stabbings, the grooming gangs, the migrant hotels, while these politicians sit there in their fancy suits pretending everything's fine. Well, it ain't fine. Our country's falling apart, and the people running it care more about looking good on the world stage than they do about protecting their own citizens. Wayne Broadhurst should be trending, mate. His name should be shouted from the rooftops. But because it don't fit their agenda, you get nothing but silence.
Keir Starmer, as a democratically elected Prime Minister, diagnosed the problem himself by getting up and saying this is all far-right thuggery. I mean, the idea that he could know the political disposition of thousands of people across the United Kingdom who've gone rioting is absolutely ludicrous. But he categorised them as far-right because he wanted not to address their genuine complaint. He wanted to rubbish them. He wanted to make it as if they don't have a genuine complaint. And then seamlessly he went on to say they will be arrested, they will be charged, there will be draconian punishments handed out.
But the judges don't have to go along.
No, but they don't. But he absolutely invoked the criminal justice system.
You're saying he set the tone.
He set the tone, and he's the Prime Minister. And what he should have said, and he could absolutely justifiably says, they will feel the full force of the law. But it's up to the law to dispense justice. It's not up to the Prime Minister to tell the courts, effectively direct the criminal justice system in how it should behave. And that's what he was doing. He said these are far-right thugs and they should be taken to task and locked up.
But we have to also criticise the judges, because
absolutely.
We have to send the message to the judges. Look, the judiciary is supposed to be independent from the government.
No doubt.
And just because a Prime Minister, I mean, Tory MPs and Home Secretaries have always stood up for years saying, we want judges to do this, and judges are quite happy to ignore them.
Paul,
we need to say to the judges, well, actually, you need to exercise your independence in some of these sentences.
But I mean, I can't say unequivocally it's cause and effect. But if you look at the timeline, you get the riots, you get the Prime Minister directing the courts to do what he wants them to do, and then they do it. And to the common man on the Clapham omnibus, that doesn't stack up well.
I think Starmer, as you've seen, he's tripping up Britain on the world stage. You know, he likes to parade around as this great global, statesman. When the truth is, look, he's both dull and he's dangerous. I would argue that he's damaging Britain's national interest. Let's break this down a bit. The US has been stopping sharing crucial intelligence sharing with the UK because of his stance on the whole Israel-Palestine stuff. Israel itself is stopping doing that. But more worryingly, it's his kowtowing to the Chinese communists. Within the first 6 months of his government, he sent his chancellor, his foreign secretary, and other ministers, including Red Ed, to Beijing to ask for handouts. He's giving them the big Chinese embassy, which is a huge security concern here in London. So he spent, 1/6 of his premiership literally trapezing around the world, pretending to be someone who he's not. He's relying on the goodwill that Great Britain, that global Britain has on the world stage to pretend that he's this great prime minister. He's got far too many things to be looking for, looking to fix at home. What has he achieved? Let's be honest. Which big deals can he point to? And he could say, well, you know what? These are this many jobs that I'm bringing into the country. Leaving aside the UK-India FTA, which was the brainchild of Boris Johnson, and the UK-India Roadmap 2030. There's nothing else.
Jonathan Lewis.
I think it's a ludicrous line of attack. He's the Prime Minister. He's not pretending to be anything. He is the Prime Minister. And Prime Ministers have to travel. That is an essential component.
I said pretending to be a statesman.
That is an essential component of the job. He said he's pretending to be a great Prime Minister. He's pretending to be he's not pretending to be a Prime Minister. He is the Prime Minister.
Is he a great Prime Minister, though?
I don't think he's a great Prime Minister by any stretch of the imagination, but he is doing his job. And going abroad is absolutely a fundamental component of being a Prime Minister. And if he didn't go to important summits, he would get it in the neck from people on this channel for neglecting his duties as well. He's
been on 42 trips in the last 17 months, which is more than any Prime Minister ever in this country.
I think that you can argue in the broad about whether he has been on too many visits. That's entirely legitimate. But when you go line by line through the individual visits, there are always legitimate reasons why he would be going to that. And at the moment, he's at the G20. If you're to miss the G20, that he would be condemned for being weak for doing that. That's obviously one of the most important meetings of developed and developing countries in the world. Because that's not what happens. No countries don't do that. They send. That would be seen as a huge snub. You send your chief personnel, and on the substance of it, Nana, he is doing. I don't agree with every decision. I don't think that don't necessarily agree with the Chinese super embassy decision. I will leave that to the security services to make evaluations about whether that is the correct course of action. I've heard arguments for and against. He has been very, very strong on things like Ukraine, and he was instrumental in bringing together this coalition of leaders after that disastrous Zelensky summit earlier this year. And I think that he can still bring influence to bear upon, at least I hope he can, upon Donald Trump. But has he got everything right on the foreign stage? No, of course not.
No,
but he's still. But I think he's doing better.
Nobody said has he got everything right, but we're saying, is he really this great global statesman that people are saying, he's doing so well on the world stage? And frankly, I don't happen to think he does. I mean, did you see him trip over? That's just embarrassing.
He's a human being.
Yeah, but he got up on the stage and went, that time with Donald Trump, it's just embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, and I'll just point to two things. Before I came into the show today, Nana, I asked just a very general group of very diverse friends in terms of who their background is, what their background is, and asked them, do you know that the Prime Minister is at the G20 today in South Africa? Not a single one of them could say yes. But more important than that, let's look at our partners and friends in Europe. I looked at Prime Minister Meloni's Twitter feed, and she tweeted this fantastic montage of photos from the G20 and who was in it. The President of South Africa, Prime Minister Modi, and herself, and a group photo. It wasn't Prime Minister Starmer.
So, you've now seen the full clips and heard exactly what was said. You can feel the emotion, the frustration, and the seriousness behind every word. This wasn't some off-the-cuff rant. It was a clear message from someone who believes they're speaking for many people who feel ignored and left behind. Things are moving quickly, and it raises some serious questions about leadership, accountability, and the growing frustration among ordinary people right across the UK. Whether you agree with the message or not, it's difficult to dismiss the passion and determination that came through in those warnings. The public response has been massive. Opinions are split, but nearly everyone is talking about it. I'd like to know what you think. Do you believe these kinds of public warnings are justified, or have they crossed a line? As always, thanks for watching, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one.